Hi, this is Jessica with Gold Rush Expeditions, and today we're assessing and exploring the Joker placer claim. Historically, this was a placer claim. Things that I am super excited about this claim are, one, it has water. Not very often do we find a substantial amount of water on a claim. This actually does have quite a bit of water. Later on in this segment, Corey is going to show you the water on this claim, and I think you'll be pretty excited about it. My job today is I'm going to show you the mining camp. We're going to start right now with this. This would have been the workshop. I know this because there is a can of nails inside, a bunch of metalworking tools. I shouldn't say tools, more like metalworking scraps. And they stored a bunch of items in here. So we're going to go ahead and take a look in this. I want to show you some of the fun that's inside this building, and then we're going to head over. We also have a storage shed, and we have some housing with a kitchen inside, an old refrigerator. Very cool site. I'm super excited about this, and I know whoever purchases this claim will be happy as well. It's very serene out here, very beautiful. It's remote. It has a gate to the site, which is really nice because then you can put a sign on it that says, active mining claim. Try and keep people off of this site. It's not on a highly traveled road, and it's only about 40 miles from Craig, Colorado. So let's go ahead and look inside this little workshop. We're looking through a window inside the workshop. So there's a lot of little bunnies around this side. I think that's the #1 inhabitant of this claim right now is the bunnies. So if you look closely, you'll see Mr. Little Hopper there. We'll call him Peter. You can see there is a bed, which was probably just here for storage, but then there's a bunch of woodworking items. Pans, pails, water barrels, some springs, metal. Definitely the workshop, without a doubt. Would have had a stove, probably to keep them warm or possibly to do some metalworking. Some sort of what looks like a sign over there, but it's kind of hard to make out. This is the second building on the Joker claim that I'm just exploring for you. And I'm gonna come up on this porch very carefully. There's not much left of it, so what I'm gonna do is just walk on the little supports in the middle, very carefully. There is a nice screen door here. Animals have used it to defecate. That's exciting. Birds, most likely. This would have been a nice little porch. You could have sat out here on this nice little seat with your coffee in the morning, check on your workers if this was the boss house, make sure everybody's doing their job. I definitely would have spent some time on this porch. Now we're going to go not inside this building, mostly because I'm gonna open the screen door and you'll see the roof is actually starting to come down. The exterior structure of these buildings is actually in really good condition. The insides, however, could use some good repair. You could get a notice of operations. You could come in, fix these up, and use these buildings in support of your mining claims. So let's go ahead and open up this door very carefully, still watching my footing. And you can see the roof has started to come down here. There was some fabric used up there, probably for insulation as well as some cardboard. They also used newspaper for insulation. You can see it down on the floor, some older newspapers. So on here I've got a September 6th, 1960. So that's when they were putting the flooring into this house. Tells me this claim was most likely being worked in the 60s. That's a pretty easy assessment. And then it's kind of fun. You can learn about the season's newest styles. Kitten Soft, only $8.88. The softest, fluffiest group of knits we've seen. Just in case you want to make your clothes. See if there's anything else of importance. This is the third building on the Joker claim. This would have been the housing unit. I know that because there is a kitchen inside, and then there's a curtain that blocks off from where the room would have been and where the kitchen would have been, so the people in the room could have had a little bit of privacy. We also have a fridge right outside that's no freezer frost. That would be nice, right? And then there's also a little shed. It's not big enough to be a workshop. It's not big enough to be any sort of miner's quarters. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this house. I want to show you the kitchen, some of the food that's still intact here, where the bedroom quarters would have been, and point out a few of the design of the era. So let's go inside. This house would have been the same era, the 1960s. You can tell that by the designs inside of the house. You can see the linoleum. It was really popular. 60s and 70s, you had your browns, your golds, your greens. Those were really popular colors at the time. By the design of this, I would say there was a woman's touch. Not just a miner, not just his buddies out here. There was probably a family living out here. There's also a fence around the yard here, which would have been for children. Children could come out and play, and they wouldn't run off and into the mining operations that were happening further down below. So again, this what I would say was a woman's touch. I would say a family lives here, and she got to pick out some of these designs. I want you to come inside and take a look at some of the curtains, the drawers, the kitchen. At Gold Rush Expeditions, we try to find claims that are remote, things that people can come out here, make a living off of, items, mines that have mineral value and good history involved with them. Sites like this has a lot of history, a lot that you can learn, a lot that you can do, and hopefully make a nice penny. This site is remote enough, and it is blocked behind a gate, that you still have food in its original container. So here's some old noodles, some macaroni in a little canning jar. Some, what I would assume may have been like a Caro syrup of the time, or it's thick, but not as thick as you would think if it was Caro syrup. You've got some nice shelving here. This would have had cupboards on it. And then you've also got a nice, cute little drawer. Keep your silverware in. Cook your husband some food when he comes home. It appears it's swollen a little bit, doesn't quite fit in. And you've also got some little hooks here. Hang your miner's tags. They wouldn't have been in the house, but that's what a miner's tag would look like. Probably aprons, towels, whatever you needed to use to clean. Another woman's touch, you've got drapery, and it's got a nice floral gray and turquoise tint, again, colors of the 60s and 70s. And let's go take a look at the room divider. Close this. It doesn't appear this ever had a door on it. It was always just the curtain rod. Again, your 1960s, 1970s era, some more 1970s chairs. Very cool site, lots to see, very remote. That about wraps it up for the mining camp. So now we're going to take you over to the actual mining operations, show you what they were doing here, how they were doing it. We're gonna try and do it before that rain hits us, and take you to see the little lake reservoir that's on the claim here. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, Corey with Gold Rush Expeditions here. We're out of the Joker site today. Colorado blows my mind every time. Every time I think we've seen the coolest sites in the world, we find something else. This site is a perfect example of, God, you can't get much better than this claim. You've got water, you've got gold. A lot of you guys like to do the placer mining. This site was hydraulically worked. We're gonna look at the reservoir they've built here. Everything they've hydraulically fractured down here. You've got this super smooth quartz that's all over here that's just worn from just years and eons of water running through it. And somebody, you can see some of the iron staining, somebody somewhere, we'll see where it was exactly found, but started finding gold in this and decided, hey, we're in a natural wash, I'll dam this up and we can really start working it. This site worked for a lot of years. Just recently there was a reclamation that was done of the major operation where they were doing a lot of the processing of the gold. That's what you can see here. If you take a look, you've got all this sage that looks all natural, and then you've got this grass, and then you've got some of the dirt they're playing with as well here. But there used to be up to 2013, and we know this because up to 2013 because we can look at images online. There was a collection of buildings here, all that they used to process the gold that they were getting out of here. Unfortunately, that's gone, but fortunately, the majority of the mining camp is still all here. You've got an ungodly awesome lake. I'm gonna call it a lake. It's a small lake, but it's badass. And you've got all the gold and all the rest of the material to work here. So let's go take a spy over here at the, what I'm calling the small lake, the micro lake. Here's the water. This is my micro lake that I'm gonna call it. You can see it shoots all the way back here, Goes up a few sides. This is where it's been hydraulically mined. They've taken, and probably pre-1900, we're probably just picking down. And then at some point, somebody got the bright idea, made this reservoir here, and there's pipes that run through it. It's all cut up with metal, so this isn't like some fancy little reservoir that somebody made, but they did this specifically so they would have water and pressure to do their hydraulic mining. Fantastically awesome. But what else do you expect? It's gold rush, right? This is what we do. Let's take a look on the other side and you'll see some of the workings that they've done here. Again, we're at the Joker claim, we're in Colorado. You know you want this. So here we're on the other side of this little small built-up dam that's here. You can see here, as you look back there, you can see some of that red. That's iron that's in the dirt. You can see over here, they've actually hit some of kind of a sandstone bedrock over here. What they were likely doing with hydraulic mining is you're gonna blast with some sort of hose, some sort of apparatus to give you high pressure, and you're gonna hit till you get down to the bedrock. When all that comes down, you're gonna take all that material and you're gonna process all the gold out of it. Anything that's heavy, it's just running it through a sluice box. So literally, you can do this with, I mean, you don't need crushers, you don't need hardly anything. All you need is, if you wanna make it easy, a sluice box. If you wanna make it hard, get a pan and you can go through it. But a sluice box, you can turn a whole lot more material and you can actually make a lot more money. But, you know, while you're out here mining, good God, could there be a better place to have your mining claim? You got your water, you got buildings. It doesn't get much better than this. And you can make money off it. This is something you could fence off, you could put your notice of operations, notice of intent, and pretty much make this, for all intents and purposes, yours. For Gold Rush Expeditions, I'm Corey Schumann. This is the Joker site in Colorado, and we'll see you at the next site.
Some animals have used it as a place to defamate.
I do say rabbits are terrible creatures. Excuse me.
You did have it. Defecate. Thanks.